the August 5th City of Monmouth Council meeting to order. If you'll please rise and join me in a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We could have a roll call for attendance, please.
Alderman Grant.
Present.
Alderman Tierney.
Here.
Alderman Dodd.
Here.
Alderman Connor.
Here.
Alderman Pinero.
Here.
Alderman Van Vliet.
Here.
Roll call complete.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion for approval of the July 15th council meeting minutes as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Are there any amendments to the corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Grant.
Yes.
Tierney.
Yes.
Dodd.
Yes.
Connor.
Yes.
Pinero.
Pass.
Van Vliet.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Under presentations to council, do we have anyone who wishes to address council this evening? Please step to the podium, state your name. Oh, and Susan, you're on the agenda.
Sarah.
Or Sarah, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Sarah, you're on the agenda. Go ahead.
Last Thursday,
Please state your name.
Dennis Henry. Last Thursday, I had a neighbor at 7:30 in the morning fired up his burn barrel, and my property was, just swarmed by thick smoke. Anyway, the fire chief, I sent him an email, and I said, do I have any rights? He basically sent me back an email today and said, I do not have any rights. He said, the city does not have any policies against burning, and pursuant to established city policy, there is no enforcement against burning. I replied to his letter and I said, check your website. No policies, no enforcement against burning. See the attached screenshot from the Monmouth Fire Department site. Burning that creates objectionable smoke or odor emission will be extinguished. Burning of landscape waste is allowed in the city of Monmouth Monday through Saturday from noon until 8 p.m. There is no landscape waste burning allowed on Sunday. So, my question is, and the reason I am here is to clarify, can a neighbor at any time, 6 days a week, 8 hours a day or whatever, spew pollutants and smoke onto my property and I have no rights? So what are my rights?
Casey, I think we've talked about it. I think there's burning allowed between those hours specified in the ordinance, correct?
Yes, and I'll be first to admit that my wording in my email to my reply was not the the best that I could have done. I'm sorry, I had a lot going on the day. I just came back from vacation. That's why I didn't reply to you on Thursday when you sent the initial email, and so I was in Florida. But be that as it may, the burning rules for Monmouth are noon to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. You are only allowed to burn yard waste. That's grass, leaves, tree clippings, and things like that. And so that's regulated by state law through the EPA that you cannot burn trash or cardboard or anything like that in Monmouth. And if your neighbor happen to be burning in the morning or outside of any ordinance hours, we'd be happy to come down and check it out. People call the dispatch center all the time, and they will page us out to respond and check out a burn complaint for anyone at any time during the day. We've been out at 2 in the morning, or any time of day. So.
Okay, I appreciate that. So again, okay, so if he's burning at 7:30 in the morning, you're going to come. I called the fire department. You're going to come down and extinguish it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. If it's during burning hours and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and sometime until 8 o'clock at evening, and this smoke again is coming over to my property, does that come under objectionable smoke? Can you put that out?
that's tricky because to subjective to one person or it's offensive to one person may not be to another. So our fire officers that respond to these burning complaints have to stay neutral in the situation and try to figure out is the complaint valid and is it valid enough to extinguish the person's fire and take away from their rights. And so we have to weigh the situation when we arrive and see how much smoke there is. And if it is objectionable, we will put it out.
Here's the situation. Okay, so his burn barrel is approximately, 50, 60 feet from his house. He doesn't want to, whatever's objectionable, he doesn't want to smell it. But he wants to spew it on my property, and he wants me to breathe it. If I'm having a social event, if I'm having a barbecue, or I'm outside with my dog, I shouldn't have to be at his mercy, should I?
That's not for me to answer. This could be
Okay.
for city council to answer. That's
Yeah.
more of an ordinance issue to me.
Yeah, I mean, the city allows for burning. It is taken on a case-by-case basis. I don't know if you've tried to talk to your neighbor to
No.
explain to him the situation. It's my advice to a lot of people. Have you done the neighborly thing and asked them not to do it? Specifically, if you're going to have an event at your house, that probably, and he or she may accommodate you accordingly. If obviously it escalates into something that you don't feel comfortable speaking to them, then yes, you should probably turn to the city officials to try to rectify things.
Well, I'm not trying to be really, bad
Again,
or
didn't you say it was not?
mean. But here's the thing. This guy is a longtime resident of Monmouth. Surely he knows about the burn rules. So the point is, surely he knows about noon till 8.
I would not guarantee that, but go ahead.
Maybe some of our residents are ignorant about it. But anyway, it seems to me that if he's flagrantly, doing that, not paying attention to the normal burning hours, then what else doesn't really give a damn about? What's he burning in that barrel? What am I breathing? This is where this is where it gets. Apparently, he has contempt for me, my property, my rights, my environment, my health. I am a disabled, decorated combat veteran who has a lot of physical ailments, a lot of health issues, and I do. One of these things is I'm not supposed to smoke cigarettes, which I don't care. I don't smoke cigarettes anyway, but I do not need him aggravating my health issues. So
and it may be as simple as you just speaking to your neighbor, but again, it's taken on a case-by-case basis, and if there is a violation, they can be ticketed under the ordinance and they can be fined. So specifically if there's non-combustible stuff that can't be burned under the state law or our city ordinance, but you can burn leaves and you can burn sticks and you can burn yard refuge basically in the city of Monmouth during those given hours. Again, if you wouldn't do it if somebody's having an event. I would.
Okay, I was just saying. Okay, but if it's heavy smoke, if it's leaves or grass, that's still disruptive. Right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have someone else who wishes to address council. Please step to the podium, state your name.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Andrew Himsel. I'm a student here at your local Monmouth College. Back here are my mentors, Caitlin and Kylan and Carly. And furthermore are my fellow group members, Ruby, Madison, and in the red, there is William. Right now we are taking part in the Sophia program, and our main focus of research is the lead piping here in Monmouth, which everyone in this room is well versed on, well knowledge about, and it's an issue that we're seeking to research and appropriate funding, as well as research grants, the grant process, and try to secure some grant money to help resolve this issue. Our main focus here through this research is giving back to the city of Monmouth and to the community which we cherish. Right now, we're starting the process where we can, but yeah, we wish to really accomplish some great things here, reach out to many people, but again, our focus here is learning about the grant process, learning about funding, and trying to secure some funding for the city here to help resolve the issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address council? Please step to the podium and state your name. Are you talking about the 5K?
Yes.
You're on the agenda.
I-
We'll call you up later.
Oh, okay, sorry.
All right? Thank you. Any other persons wish to address council? Hearing none, we'll move on our agenda to the consent agenda. And we have one item, that's approval of the bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, Susan, second. Okay, thank you. Are any items to be removed for further consideration or discussion? Hearing on a roll call, please.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Canado,
Yes.
Van Vliet,
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to the committee of the whole, we have the TIF application from Midwestern Pet Foods for demolition of former Western Stoneware building. Lou, would you please?
Yes, we have an application under our tax increment financing program from Midwestern Pet Foods. It is in the amount of $332,379. It is to remove contaminants from the building prior to demolition of the building, and site preparation and grading afterwards. So it is, these are all TIF eligible expenses. It is a performance-based project, which means that there will be no public tax dollars involved, but rather it will be future property tax revenues generated by Midwestern Pet Food, which will be the source of funds to repay back the company for incurring these costs. So it'd be my recommendation to approve the project, and that will authorize me to prepare a redevelopment agreement and bring that back for your final approval.
Council have any questions? Hearing none, we entertain a motion for approval of the TIF application from Midwestern Pet Foods for demolition of the former Western Stoneware building for future expansion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussions? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Canado,
Yes.
Van Vliet,
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next, we have an application from the La Picanita building, and that's part of the building rehabilitation program. Lou, would you discuss that one?
Yes, Ray Gillen, who owns the building on South First Street. There is an issue with the front wall leaning and potential for collapse. So there's a need to shore up the bricks and the mortar to strengthen and preserve the integrity of that wall. It is at a cost of $8,000 under the downtown commercial building rehab program. He would be entitled to a reimbursement of $2,400 upon completion of the project, making sure all the permits are secured, and then providing the city with proof of payment of the $8,000 for the reimbursement of $2,400, which is 30%, which is our program guidelines. So I would recommend approval of this application.
Council have any questions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for approval of the building rehabilitation application.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dawn,
Yes.
Connor,
Yes.
Canado,
Yes.
Van Vliet,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Toomey,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda, for a number of years, the Monmouth Field of Dreams has leased property from the city of Monmouth at the Citizens Lake site, and they've been operating their youth baseball programs there, and that lease expired, and it's time to renew that lease. I think this is a 15-year lease, am I correct, Markham?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
Lou?
a 15-year lease, and under the same terms and conditions, we did allow them, there's a provision in there that they could rent out the fields for baseball or softball purposes. And the previous lease, which dated back, I believe, to 2003, was that fee could be no more than $30. That's been increased to $50, given the length of time since the original lease was signed. So we don't have any issue with this. And all of the terms is identical to what we had. It's $1 a year lease. We typically don't collect.
They maintain
They do all the maintenance. Yes. They insure it, and then we also insure it as part of our property.
We insure it.
We insure it.
So they reimburse it.
Okay, okay.
Motion
Gotcha.
to renew the lease.
I have a motion to renew. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Conard,
Yes.
Pinero,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Toomey,
Yes.
Dahl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda now is the Courtyard Estates 5K Walk for Alzheimer's request. Now you may step to the podium, please state your name and your request. I believe you've changed your route from prior years.
Yes, we changed the route. My name is Sylvia Daniel. I'm Executive Director at Courtyard Estates here in Monmouth. And we did a 5K walk last year for Alzheimer's, and we donated proceeds to the Alzheimer's Association. We just changed it up a little bit because we did have a few complaints about what route that we took last year. So we just kind of simplified it up because we had to have some cars parked at the end of the route last year, where this year what we'll do is it will walk from Courtyard down Sunny Lane by Love's and then walk all the way back up. So.
Okay. Chief, you've seen the route, do you have any?
Yes, I don't have any issues.
Okay.
I was curious, does it cross 11th or just go to that?
It just stops right there.
Doesn't go across into
No.
Love's? I was just thinking all the trucks that are on that east-west road. No, that's the only question I had.
Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion for approval of the Alzheimer's walk along Sunny Lane. I believe it was October 5th from 9 to 11.
Yes.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Pinero,
Yes.
Beverly, Grant,
Yes, sorry.
that's okay.
Yes.
Toomey,
Yes.
Dahl,
Yes.
Conard.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, thank you.
You bet. Next up, we have a request or a proposal for the City Square Center, changing up from the fountain to a statue. Sarah, I believe this is yours.
My name is Sarah Walters. I'm pretty much a lifelong resident of Monmouth. Months ago, when the city announced that we were finally going to move forward on the downtown beautification project, I took note of the square and the state of the fountain at that current time, and it was in pretty bad shape, wasn't running, was pretty rusty. An idea popped into my head. I'm a big proponent for our town, and I want to bring as many people here as we can to show them that we are a town that's worth visiting for the day, for the weekend, maybe even to move here. And I feel like this is the time for us to maybe possibly make a change. So I started doing some investigating. I reached out to my new friend, Gabe Stevens. He is a metal crafter in Biggsville. He owns an amazing place. You'll have to go on his website to see Masterpiece Customs. And I had the idea, we are the Maple City. And if you look around just this room, there's maple leaves everywhere. When you come into our city, there's a maple leaf. A lot of people use the maple leaf as their logo. The Park District, Gibson Woods, the Chamber of Commerce. We are the Maple City. This might be a chance for us to kind of take a step to the future to show people that we are a destination. You know, people will drive to see the biggest ear of corn. People will drive to see the biggest bale of straw. So why wouldn't they possibly come and see this beautiful maple leaf in the center of our town? This is just a proposal. There can be changes made to this, but we wanted to have something to show you, to give you an idea of what we were thinking. And of course, since this idea started, the fountain has been painted and has been kind of resurrected. So I recognize that, but I decided I'm still going to come and show you possibly an idea for hopefully the future. So this proposal, the actual ring where it says Monmouth, the Maple City, would be illuminated at night. So when people drove into the town, they would be welcomed by that illuminated sign that welcomed them to Monmouth, the Maple City. The maple leaf in the center would be on, it would be slowly rotating so that it could be visible from all four quadrants when you came into town. Obviously, you would come in Main, north and south, you would see the Monmouth. It would be two-sided. From Broadway, you wouldn't, but that's all right. You'd make your little way around the square and you'd eventually see it. I would like to keep the pool that's there now, and if the fountain was removed, fill that with rock and dirt and landscape that so that it would be beautiful and a lot less maintenance and probably a lot less money. I would like to reach out to Martha Smith, who's a local horticulturist, and get her idea on some things that would be native to our area that would grow well and do well. I did bring Gabe with me tonight in case anyone had any questions. Some of you might be asking, how much are we going to have to pay for this great idea that you have, Sarah? Well, I will propose, if we think that something like this is in our future, I will fundraise and I will make sure that the city does not have to pay one single penny to make this happen. So I don't know what else I'm supposed to do, answer questions or sit down or what, but that's my proposal.
Okay, well, thank you. Anyone have any questions of Sarah while she's...
I actually got questions for the designer.
Yeah, Gabe?
So what are we going to make this out of? Steel, aluminum? I'm just looking at the upkeep it's going to take later on.
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel?
When you paint stainless, you don't have any corrosion or the last longevity is longer than what we'll have to deal with. I mean, it'll be a generation after us.
What kind of size are we talking about? How big are we talking?
10 feet, so it's 10 feet wide. The maple leaf will be about 6 feet tall to give you a perspective, but we have it at 20 feet tall from the ground to the top of the sign. Just proposed at that.
How does that, I'm just trying to think how wide that pool is. So it'd be about as wide as the pool. Is that about 10 feet, that pool, or is it more than that? I can't remember.
To be real honest, I haven't measured the
I'm not sure.
It's more than that.
Probably
Yeah.
22 feet, probably.
22?
Yeah.
Okay. So about half the width of that. I'm just trying to get a scale.
And like I said, this is just a proposal, so, you know, if it's something that the city thought was possibly a good idea, we would work on that and make it so that it's exactly what we all want it to be. This is just a starting point to show you, hopefully, maybe a different idea.
At 20 foot, is there a lot of obstruction from any of the trees around there? I haven't really paid attention to many of the trees. Have you looked at that?
I don't, and I think that in the proposal for the beautification, I believe most of those trees are supposed to stay. in the city square. So I don't think it would be anything different than what's there. It would just be maybe a little taller than the fountain, but again, that could be, worked out so that it,
That's great height. I'm just wondering how much of the trees are going to obstruct it.
sure,
Because you put that beautiful piece in, and then you got the trees obstructing it.
right,
Right. Obviously, we're not taking the trees out, but.
right. Well, hopefully, if we maintain the new beautification properly, we'll be able to see it.
Any other questions for Sarah?
I'm just in general up for whatever is, just, it just, we have to always look at it being in good repair, which is probably what prompted this with the fountain.
That was
initially.
exactly, because I know that years ago, Rotary Club looked at refurbishing the fountain, and in my research, I discovered that it was going to be very costly, like $60,000 to $70,000 approximately dollars, which is why they chose to do the Patee Park, the splash pad out on Broadway and 11. So while the fountain is beautiful, it's not necessarily historic. It's not the original fountain. That happens to be at David Reed Clark's house, the pieces that were left. So this is just, it's not like I'm trying to take away history, because I love history as much as anyone else, but I think they're sometimes to modernize, we do look back at our history, but we also have to look forward as well.
Any other questions? Thank you. We'll take it under advisement and
Thank you.
see what we need to do to go forward. Next, we have our Building and Zoning July report, Director Clark.
Mayor, council, good evening. The zoning department continues to issue building permits, notices for ordinance violations to include mowing, junk and debris, unsafe structures, demolitions, issue citations, and complete rental and solar inspections as well. You can see below notices of ordinance and violations and citations. There for you to review. Also, all of this information is on the city website as well, so everybody has access to that. The garages that were approved by council, 715 North 6th Street, structure is up and dried in, and I think he's well on the way of having that one finished. And then 1203 Lincoln Road, the structure was up this last week and partially dried in for that one, and they probably did well on it already this week through the weekend. And then 122 Southeast Street, pad support for that garage. I think they're looking at that in the next couple of weeks to get started on that one. The Strong Communities Program grant funds that the city utilizes in taking down abandoned and houses that are in excess of structurally 50% compromised. We at the present have about $125,440 left in them grant funds. We had a house on that fortunately someone was able to purchase and are fixing that house, which was the one at 602 North C Street. So that one will stay on the tax roll going forward. And then the other one that we're working on right now, which we'll be able to, and I'm putting it together this week, will be for the house that caught fire at 314 West 3rd Avenue. That one's going to be a little trickier. We're going to have to look at some ways to get in there to get that house down because of the way the electrical is going to the houses adjacent to that. Plus there was some damage done to one of the houses to the west. So we're going to have to look at what we can do to make everything come together and do everything properly. Open projects, the ICS school gymnasium, they're still working on the HVAC there and finishing up some of the electrical. Still awaiting some windows and doors for that as well. Echo Oil Company, they've removed the tanks, the demolition. They're moving all the rock back at the lot. They're going to end up grinding that up and probably using some of that for fill. So it's not going to be just buried in the ground or hauled out. And then Smithfield, Fresh Meats, the fabrication shop, they finally got all of that completed other than the sprinkler system. They had some back order issues with that. And then their other building for office space for the maintenance, They're finishing up on that as well. We'll probably get out there this week and take another look at it, see how close they are. Other than that, any questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next, we have the Woodard and Kern annual report and June report. We're going to kind of combine those together.
I know it says Richard, you guys are going to be stuck with me on this report, sorry. I told him we'd give him a break on it. I'm Greg Frieden with Woodard and Kern Area Manager. Up here we've got the slideshow, but you all should have the packet of the full report in your packets, I hope. If not, shame on Richard. We completed, as of April 30th, our 11th year of service with the city. We thank you and appreciate you guys allowing us to provide these services. One big thing that happened, I guess, that you all have to see is Andy retired over the last year, so we no longer have Andy here. He still is helping in an advisement role for us in the city. He's continued to be a big help in Richard's transition through this, so wanted you guys to know that. I don't know how you want me to change this.
There's a mouse up there, just click.
Mouse. This?
Yeah, the little black mouse, I think that's up there. Yep, and then just click.
It'll just click and push?
Yep. That's right.
Perfect. When it's supposed to work.
Probably went to sleep.
Technical difficulties. Anyway, so first thing we normally talk about safety. We went through a lot of safety training this year, as we always do. There would be a list of the things we did. We also went through this year, which is a major accomplishment, of going through without any incidents or injuries at the operation, which when you're talking about all the kinds of work that we do, that's pretty significant to get through and not have any even minor incidents happen. So wanted to let you guys know that. And as you can see here, we have our list of services that we provide to the city. A lot of things you probably see day to day, probably a lot of things you don't. When we start talking about bringing in our engineers or our funding team to help the city find funding, and then the things we do in the backdrop of helping the city manage the solid waste stuffs and things like that. So as you can see, significant amount of work we do. We're pretty entangled with you guys here, and hope to continue to do that. Which is going to be hard to see. We got the big number out there. So revenues for the year, $7.942 million were brought in to the Public Works. And as I switch, you'll see those changes, and again, averaging 3.4% growth per year. Obviously, as everybody knows, inflation's been a little higher than that, so we're able to provide the services and do things and keep that, try to maintain a little below what inflation's doing as best we can. Helps the citizens, helps keeps the cost down. For 2024, our total budget was $3.463 million for this last year. It has year 10, unfortunately that should be 11. Our actual spend was 3.488, less than a 1% increase or over our cost. So we were able to maintain within 1% of the budget over a $3.4 million budget. So that's pretty good. Just shy of $25,000 for the year. So good accomplishment there. And then just showing some cost trends. As you can see, this is our budgets and then how we trended through the years to budget. We're normally usually pretty close. Again, you can see we had a pretty significant increase in costs for the year, what we budgeted, a lot due to inflation, a lot of chemical cost increases that we were seeing. Obviously, everything's costing more money, more for pipe, more for everything that we do to maintain. The cost went up, so we had to budget for that. and we were pretty close on maintaining that budget, so. And then I got Don Toll with me also. Don is our project engineer from our consulting side. You know, let him talk about a lot of the projects we're completed, because he does a lot of work with our team, and wanted to give him time too, so you folks can see we've got more than just Richard and I and Andy, that handle this for you. There's a lot of people involved in our team. So.
Again, Don Tall, we met. So one of the projects we started last year was the East Euclid North 6 water main replacement. We started that design last spring, maybe the fall before. That went into construction last summer and through the fall. New roadway on Euclid, new water main on Euclid, and then also a portion of 6th Street got a new water main, and the rest of it was already new from the college when we moved all the services over to that. So, that project did close out early this spring. The downtown water main, water and sewer replacement, so right outside the doors here. We replaced all the water mains and all of the lead lines that were in that quadrant, in the whole quadrant. And then we also lined the sewer instead of excavating them and making a big mess and causing a lot of issues. We lined the sewers, so now they'll be structurally sound for a lot of years to come. And then we also came down Broadway here with a new water main. One thing we are looking at is another water main on North Main and also West Broadway, and that's on the agenda. We can talk about that later today. But the quadrant side is all done with the water main and the sewer. Phase 1 West Harlem water main replacement. So again, we started that a year or two ago on the design. Got the funding we needed last fall, so we installed all that from G Street up to Main Street. All that was all brand new water mains and services. That project is complete. We completed it this spring. The wastewater plant disinfection project is currently under construction. All of the concrete structures are there. We're waiting for the equipment to be installed or delivered. That delivery is expected in September, so hopefully by the end of the year, the disinfection system will be complete also. Phase 2 of the West Harlem water main replacement, that is from G Street on down the rest of the way, past the hospital, and then a little bit down, is it Sunnydale?
Past Sunny Lane to the bypass.
That's it. Yeah. We got a little bit of piece on there. That one we just got funding approval, so we are looking to go out to bids next week. Hopefully that'll be bid by the end of August, 1st of September, and we will start construction and hopefully be done before the end of the year, before the weather hits. Downtown sewer rehab replacement retention project. There's a piece of sewer that's going in downtown that's a combination water and stormwater and sewer. We're looking to replace that. We're looking for funding right now in order to complete that project. The water system expansion project, so that's the West Harlem water plant. Currently you have a well number 7 on West Harlem, and we are going to build a new treatment plant, the water treatment plant there, and that will help subsidize the city and then also Smithfield. That is currently under design right now, and we're hoping to get material purchased this fall and get that under construction next spring. The North 5th Street sewer project, another one of the combined sanitary storm sewer lines that does go near and underneath a couple houses. And we're looking to pull that out and put it down Broadway and then also down 5th Street and kind of reroute that whole sewer and take it out from away from those houses. That'll include new laterals from the houses into the new main. That is under design right now. It'll go to CDBG application process this fall, and hopefully we'll know late fall, early spring if we get funding for that. Fiscal sustainability plan. This is a requirement from SRF. It's a part of the disinfection project. That is an SRF loan. I believe it was a $3 million loan with about $1 million forgiveness, so $1 million grant on that. But part of taking the loan on SRF is you have to do a fiscal sustainability plan, which is basically listing all of your assets and making sure you have the funds and everything lined out to make sure that you can pay for your replacements. And they just want to ensure that you're looking ahead and that you're looking at short-lived assets and making sure that you can replace all of them. And then also the long-term control plan phase 3. The city sent a response letter to IEPA on July 31st, 2024, outlining the improvements made towards reducing combined sewer overflows and future action items. Approval from the IEPA of action items within the response letter will determine future steps, so we're just waiting for their response. I think that's it.
For you right now.
Any questions?
I think, you helped us work towards getting about $12 million worth of grants. I don't want to
Yeah.
steal anybody's presentation, but, I mean, that's pretty important, and, it's really key to allowing us to meet the compliance requirements, get the sewers out from underneath the buildings, doing all the things we need to do, and growing our supply for both public safety and economic development and growth.
Yeah, and one thing I didn't mention was the GLOW program. So we've all met with, or the mayor and Lou and all of us have met with US EPA and IEPA to do a GLOW program to investigate lead service lines. They're not going to replace them, they're just going to investigate them. But along with that, we put in for SRF application for funding for the replacement of the lead service line. So thank you all for thinking about that. In June, they came out with a draft plan. We had asked for $2.747 million, so $2,747,000. That would basically be a 2-year replacement of lead service lines identified in the 17-year plan. The cap is usually $2.3 million from IEPA. The original draft came back with approved 2.3, but when the final came back, they approved the 2.747. So you got, $2,750,000 basically to go towards lead service line replacement. And then also the Sorensen grant will come in, so we can add to that. So hopefully, tacking on to the GLOW program from US EPA and IEPA, combination of all 3 of those will do a really good dent in the lead service lines.
And that 2.7 million is fully forgivable, 100% grant.
It's 100%.
So cost the city no match, no anything. Other things also, we talked about value-added services with engineering, our funding team, which we just spoke about. Best practices, GIS mapping. We also have a computerized maintenance system where we've also included all the assets, not all the assets, but as we go through adding assets and from the city, we got about 15,000 assets in that program that we track maintenance work done on, all those different things of the assets, age, wear and tear. We just assess all that stuff. So you can see that, and I don't want to take up too much time, but as you spoke to the 12.5, here's a lot of the grants and funding that the city has gotten that either we've helped with or they've accomplished on their own, or we've done as a team. And then some of the other compliance items that we've worked through, the EPA's had us have to do a nutrient assessment reduction plan, lead service line replacement, which we've talked about, the disinfection project, what we talked about, and then the compost site permitting. All those were things mandated by the EPA, the Illinois EPA. And then obviously the US EPA's mandated a source water protection plan, which has been done. And again, they started the rule for the lead and copper. So those are all other items of compliance. And then again, this just shows the services and value that Water and Current brings. The things you don't see, like our HR department or all those different items that we manage with having all the employees under us. So again, that's all I've got. Thank you for all your time. Is there any questions on anything or?
Since this came up with with the college students, have you worked with them at all on that?
We have not. This is the first we've heard about it, so I'm going to catch them before they walk out of the room to have a conversation and see where that may lead. So it'd be great to understand what they want to do and maybe be able to help them, and certainly maybe get them involved with what we're talking about on this GLOW program. So
Yeah, the Get the Lead Out program does have other funding that we've been working on. And
that may be a resource for us that we can utilize and not have to use all of our manpower to do. So we will catch up with them as soon as this is over. Any other questions? All right, thank you all.
Thank you, we appreciate all you've done, and I'm still amazed that we treat, was it 1.137 billion gallons of water every year? And what's the waste? It's in the, it's gotta be about that too.
Yeah, I'd have to look, get to the actual numbers, but
Wastewater's, yeah, it's, we treat as much going out as we do coming in, so.
if not more sometimes.
Yeah,
The
yeah, from the storm.
rain, and the storms, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
additions of flow from other, like Smithfield and whatnot. So I don't have the exact, it's probably in here, I'd have to look for it also.
All right, well, thank you, Greg.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm sorry, do we have any questions of the Woodard and Kern folks before I let them go? Okay, thank you. Next up, we have the approval of the Fire Department Station 2 air conditioner bids. Lou, Casey's gonna handle that. All right.
Thank you, Mayor. If you recall from the end of the last report I gave at the last council meeting, excuse me, we had an issue with our air conditioner down at Station 2. It was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, right during one of the big heat waves we had this summer. But we were able to get a technician out there pretty quickly to repair the air conditioner, but they did mention that it's kind of on its last leg. They did make a repair on there, they called it temporary, and then they suggested that we get the air conditioner replaced as soon as feasible to let or just have doing without an air conditioner. And so that's why we went out to get 3 different bids to replace the air conditioner unit down there. We did have the independent, IHC heating and cooling came in as the lowest bid at $3,850. That's our recommendation to replace down there, air conditioner. Did they have any questions about the bids or anything like that?
Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion for approval of the low bid from Independent Heating and Cooling.
So moved. Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Vemke.
Yes.
Grant.
Yes.
Toomey.
Yes.
Daw.
Yes.
Connor.
Yes.
Benado.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. As Don alluded to in his presentation, we have an amendment to the engineering agreement and a change order to Lavadier Construction to do a change order to replace the 100 block of West Broadway and the 100 block of North Main, and the engineering agreement and design and inspection. Don, do you move that?
Well, I've got it, I can add.
Oh, okay.
You may recall that the city received just over $1.2 million in federal funds from the COVID-19 Act reimbursements. And we earmarked those funds specifically to replace the water main under the public square, so that all of it was replaced at the time when we moved forward with the streetscape beautification program, because it was old and it was there were a lot of breaks, there were a lot of maintenance issues with those lines. When we actually went out to bid, we did not know exactly what those bids would come in at, so we kept out of the bid the water main that's under the street at the 100 block of North Main and the 100 block of West Broadway. Those particular lines have not been a big problem for us, but we have had breaks from time to time there. But we just weren't sure whether or not we would have enough funds to replace them. And now that we have this ability, we are able to enter into a contract with Lavadier. That's the contractor who originally installed the water lines throughout the public square. They have agreed to replace these 2 sections of water line at the exact same unit price that they bid earlier in the year. And that would enable us, total cost on that is $243,705. So that is within that 1.2 range that we have funds still available from those COVID federal dollars that we previously received. With that, we need to engage Woodard and Curran to design the replacement of the water lines, and then to do the construction inspection and obtain the necessary state permit from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. So I would ask for council's approval to enter into amendment with Woodard and Curran on the engineering services, and then to enter into a change order with Lavadier to actually install those 2 water lines on 100 blocks of North Main and West Broadway.
Since we will be replacing the roads, it's, and we do have the funds, so we did want to complete this and make sure we were solid all the way around.
Is this gonna delay the?
No,
anything?
no, they're
Don't worry.
Yeah, Lavedier's ready to go, so once this contract's approved, I'll give them the green light, and they'll probably be on site within a week or two. And this will go pretty fast.
And the one west is in the parking area, and the one north is more down the.
Yeah, right now it's kind of beyond the square, because we kind of went past the square with the original phase 1, if you want to call it that. So it's just kind of going down the next intersection so that we incorporate everything that's going to get repaid.
We just felt that with the amount of money we're investing in the streetscape, last thing we would want to do is have to dig it up because we had a water main break. So now's the time to replace these 2 lines.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. If there are no other questions, I entertain a motion for approval of the engineering and construction contract for those 2 different water mains.
So moved.
I have a motion over here. Got a second over here? Second. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, a roll call, please.
Bentley?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Toomey?
Yes.
Daw?
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes.
Canano?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move adjourned.
And a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you.